Robin, I'd like to address you. I don't need to read a whole lot about this because I can tell you what I feel in my soul, and I feel this is incorrect to my people. Your reparations authority, your reparations, the people that you've gathered in order to make this authoritative decision that you're going to offer us a housing plan. Every one of those people that I've been able to identify on this authority who very patriarchally decided how they were going to give me my the way that they were going to give me my reparation. They decided without asking me for any input from my personal, I do not give anybody on your reparations authority committee to speak for me or to decide how I am repaired from the damage that has been done historically to my family here. And I want to make that perfectly clear. And I also want you to understand that there are a number of people here in the community that know those people who are supposed to be this reparations authority, and that all of them are considered legacy people, and that they're all standing in line, probably along with you, to get reparations in front of a large group of deserving other people who have suffered a lot. And I find it just, I have to say, it is just, to me, it is just almost obscene that there are people standing in line with me who actually are on this authority commission that you set up, that you in some way change this to be something where I've got to take my reparation and give it to the banks, okay? I don't remember giving anybody that authority to decide for me how I am going to be repaired. And the audacity for most of the commission, which probably also includes you, and I'm not trying to be evil about this, but how can you stand with me? And you can stand with the older people, and you can claim a heritage right to this. You even have one of the big ministers here in the city, who is already showing that he has a heritage entitlement to this, and it likely includes himself plus one other member of his family. So, and then you have people on this authority who made this decision that you were going to do this housing thing for us, who are lining up next to us to receive the first 14 or 15 payouts that you're going to make. I suggest that this authority step back and not take one penny and put it in your pocket, because you are the people that made the decision how you were going to disperse this to my people. So I see you shaking your head, but that's how it's being viewed. And I know that I know that you have got to be aware of what people are thinking and feeling in the community. But I don't think one of you in this authority, and what is this called? The Reparations Stakeholder Authority, which is about maybe. We can't even identify them right now. We can identify them from who they were like maybe 3, 4, 5, or 6 months ago. But everybody now has pulled back. So I can name a few. But those are people that actually sat up and decided that they were going to make this housing thing for us to exist under. They have no right to stand up and take any payout. If you formulated this philosophy, if you formulated this plan, you should step back and not take money from the people with the people that are highly entitled to it. We did not have a choice. And no matter what you say, Robin, and I'm not being argumentative, we did not have a choice in how we want to be repaired and how this money should be used for our individual needs.
Ask your question.
Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. The one thing that seems a little disconcerting is that this group is anonymous, and I wonder if you could speak to why this group would choose to be anonymous. Part of activism is that you are active. So it seems a little off-putting or concerning that the key members are anonymous. Can you speak to that, please?
Yeah, definitely.
I am a key member and I am not anonymous.
Okay? Yes, I do want to mention that, there are some members that because of a position that they hold in their employment or just whatever their life position entails, they may be susceptible to retribution because of taking this stance. I know at the beginning of this call even, there was an individual that came into here and called me the N-word and mentioned to be my name. And that is something that individuals that have taken our position have felt that they are at risk of. And I feel that coming from my position of being somebody who has been a public figure for the past 6 months, that I am able to take the brunt of that, and I will deal with anybody who uses that language or goes forward in a derogatory manner towards me individually. But there are some individuals in the organization itself that have been key to getting us to the point where we are now, that feel that a disruption such as that in their life would be detrimental to whatever they have going on. So I respect that position of wanting to remain anonymous and just being a supporter and being there whenever they can be, so that they are not susceptible to any attacks by members of the community or individuals outside of the community who would wish to do them harm. So does that?
Hi, thank you for having me on here, and I appreciate hearing all these diverse comments and observations. I think it's a very important part of this process. For those who don't know me, I'm Dino Robinson. I'm founder of Shorefront and Shorefront Legacy Center. I developed the report that you can find on the city's website entitled Policies and Practices that the city of Evanston had put against the Black community in its racial inequity from 1900 to present day. I think it was an important document to put together. I feel a lot of the same comments that everybody's talked about throughout this whole evening. This has been something that's been on all of our minds from day one. I do want to address one little point that I think is important, and it's kind of a struggle at the same time how to properly discuss something that's new. Everything that we're doing right now is so new. We're doing these policies. We're looking at avenues. We're looking at how to use limited funding. When I got involved in this and really started paying attention and going to those meetings, I immediately saw the limitations of what the $10 million tax-supported cannabis monies can actually do. And it was a concern because we can't take that money. I thought my idea would be to take that money and put it into an account that can accrue interest and grow and do something more substantial. Once we found that that cannot be done, there was discussion about how to create a fund somewhere else where the harmed community has autonomy and control over to determine where and what programs that could be done. And out of that involvement came this process that is being referred to as the RSAE. So my name is on that application right now because I'm working on that application to get that up and going. I'm working with an attorney who's doing pro bono work to help us draft the bylaws and other credentials to certify it as a nonprofit. The main goal of that is to help administer the funds that are being set up and donated to the Evanston Community Foundation's Reparations Fund. Now, to clarify this, I'm only on there as an organizing structure. I don't want to serve on that RSAE. I am not from Evanston. I don't have roots in Evanston. I have no skin in this game at all. But I believe that the harmed community needs to have a voice. And the reason for setting up the RSAE is so that members of the community, like Rose Cannon, needs to be on this committee, so that they can make determinations of how the money can be utilized in this fund at the Evanston Community Foundation and help advise the city staff for what can be done. So right now, because we have to put up these organizing papers, the only names on there right now are myself, Reverend Neighbors, and Pastor Diller. Only in organizational purposes only. The board has not been set up. We were looking for people to be involved in that. And we just started rolling that out and started talking about it publicly, looking for members who'd like to participate on that. And stay tuned. There'll be some more public meetings about that for informational processes, what the RSAE's responsibility. RSA members have to sign a conflict of interest, so you're not self-dealing. The goal is to identify organizations and entities or initiatives of what this independent money, separate from the city of Evanston. The city of Evanston has no say in it. It is completely controlled by the harmed community locally here in Evanston, so that we can do some really phenomenal work. And we base this on the idea that myself with Shorefront, the Chessmen, and Second Baptist Church all have funds at the RSA up at the Evanston Community Foundation, and see the possibilities of what can be done with these funds as it grows, and utilizing the interest earned on that to run effective programming and start building a legacy of trying to help mitigate the harm done in our collective communities. We will not see the bigger impact of this probably in our lifetime. But we need to set up something that's foundational, that can last for generations to come, so that our descendants our prescendants, our kids, our grandkids, would have a possibility to benefit from this. I dream of a time where every Black kid from the high school here can graduate and know they have a full ride scholarship because of this fund set up, so that's controlled by the Black community. That's important to me. And I'm doing this because I'm trying to get this done so that the community can take a hold of it and do this wonderful work and these plans and these different ideas that are being listed out today, and of the list that was done 2 years ago. It is a growing process. 2 years ago, we had zero money. Now we're looking at a $10 million seed money to try things out, to see what works, what doesn't work, and the limitations. And then a new fund that's being developed at Evanston Community Foundation, where we can expand on that and have more opportunity to do something that's more creative, more in-depth, and more beneficial to the harmed communities locally here in Evanston. So I just want to make that clear, that this is not like some type of inside deal. I am not involved in it. I have no skin in the game. I get nothing out of it. I came here in 1980. I have no roots in Evanston whatsoever. But I'm working hard to try and set up something that benefits the community, and that the community takes over and does what's important for that community. And that's kind of where I want to bring that out, because I don't want too much misinformation going out about what people might think is happening. And I can understand that. I mean, there's legacies of distrust with a lot of things that have happened. I get it. I'm a victim of that. But we need to start somewhere. I applaud the efforts of what we're trying to do here in Evanston. It's a small start. It seems frustrating. Sometimes we do things and the wind gets knocked out the sail. We get derailed for a bit. But I think what's important is, one of the important tenets, too, of reparations work is that we cannot take fighting externally. We work internally as a group under one banner, reparations. And the local reparations platform is separate and does not impede or take away from what the national movement is. Evanston saw an opportunity to try and do something locally and try and address it, instead of just talking about it, actually putting action to it and see how it could work. And thank you. I'm sorry for taking up so much time and talking. I hope it's everything. If you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you, Dino, for providing me and us with that information, which we have not been privy to. This is the first time that anyone has spoken publicly, openly, where we understood what your motivations were. And I hope you understand why we would be just unsure of what your motivations are and where is this going. I want to let everyone know here, I love reparations. I want reparations, but I want it to be done correctly in our city, since we are the first one, it looks like, on the ground with this. we have a city council, a lame duck city council that is getting ready to vote this into law, possibly on Monday or next day. We're asking that city council take no further action until they have been replaced by all the people that have been voted in. And this initiative can sit for a minute. And you guys can go back and look at it and redo it and make it something that we, as the people on the ground, can live with and can participate in having a voice in this. And we're asking the city council just not to take this vote, not to make this a permanent document, because unfortunately, we'll have to continue this fight even beyond if our voices are not heard by this lame duck sitting council that is sitting in. And furthermore, I think it's an improper thing for this to call this reparations. You should take the name reparations off of this package and just go back to the drawing board. Take the time between when this lame duck city council is gone and when this new one is seated in May, and refine this program so that it's something that every one of us can love and embrace and feel a part of it. Because only until you spoke a few seconds ago did I feel that I was being included, that my voice was being included. I've never been invited to any private meeting where you folks have sat and figured out philosophy and how to do this. And I feel excluded as a result of that. And I'm not the only one in this community that feels that way. But all we're asking for is that you just sit on this, wait until this new city council is in to take an appropriate vote on this. And in the meantime, the money isn't even in the pot. The what is it, the $400,000 that you're hoping to get into this pot from the taxes to pay these first 15 or 16 people of us, that money is not even near being filled up in that pot. So we have time. And so I'm trying to figure out what is the rush to make this a permanent thing. And it's flawed. We want you to just go back to the drawing board and look at it again and give us time to sit in and be a part as people on the ground. Thank you.
One thing I want to reemphasize that I don't like when there's so much distinction and a level of disrespect. I do believe that everyone has their entitlement to their opinion. So whereas we all live together, we're in a community together, I think that our respective differences make up our diversity. So including or excluding anyone's opinion, to me, is part of the reason why we're talking about this, because of historically how African American were treated with the disparities and the discriminational practices that we've seen throughout history. So if we don't come together for anything, let's at least come together for being respectful for people to voice their opinions and feel that they can be heard. And what bothers me the most about it, and I agree as an automatic candidate for the 5th Ward, talking to most of my constituents and just working on initiatives prior to even getting to this point, is that there seems to be some stench of not being completely 100% on board with the rollout. Obviously, everyone's excited about it, and I'm sure that the timing is probably part of the motivation about pushing it so quickly. But once you put something out there and there's no parameters on having a solid foundation, because it concerns me that we're pushing this as a minority-based project, but the minority representation as far as the banks, as far as regenerating a fund that will basically, it's supposed to be because we lost our wealth. Well, I envision something that is created that we as Black people, as the money works towards, will be something that could build into a trust that we will see the money and it'll grow itself. I'm particularly interested in that vacant dispensary. And I'm hoping that we could do something with the minority-based corporation, which we have seen proven throughout the country. They do exist. So I'm looking at something wholeheartedly that will take a look at regenerating the money that is created, being able to build on and expand on the money in a trust-based type of operation through our own community with the support of a minority-based thing throughout the whole entire process. I'm talking about from the committee on down. We have to look at we have valid, credible resources within our own community that can speak to their experiences and the various determinations as to what would fulfill their satisfaction. So to only marginalize it to 14 people is just not proper representation, whether it's rolling it out at the beginning or whether it's something that would be worked in throughout the whole entire process. I just don't support anything that could take something that affected possibly tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of our ancestors and narrow it down to such a small margin for the rollout. And that's just some of my thoughts. I'm sure that as we continue to just take what the community is saying, the response to what the community is saying in consideration, then we move forward collectively. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Pretty much, I just wanted to state a comment, and thank you for having me, Sebastian. You guys have done an amazing job. Carolyn, Ms. Rose, I commend you all for, speaking such great words and also, really passionate about this thing, because I've just been, I've been doing my research on this thing, and I'm actually from Philadelphia. I'm a reparationist. I'm a descendant of, of Black Americans enslaved on his land, on his soil. And, I'm just looking around what's going on in the country as far as these quote-unquote reparations in these different places and the municipalities and at the state level. Me, quite frankly, I don't agree with a lot of it, because I think what's going on is being watered down. And we're talking about a situation where the 14 people will only have access to this fund in the beginning. We're talking about $25,000 that will go towards a housing situation, which is very disrespectful. I mean, housing is truly important, but as Carolyn was saying, yeah, we need housing, but we need some other stuff. Whereas I hear about the dispensaries that are opening up in Illinois. I heard about the alderman in Chicago who raised awareness about the lack of Black-owned dispensaries there in Chicago, and I know you guys aren't that far from Chicago. So with those different things being said, my thing is, okay, how can you all get more equity into the community? How can you all get more funds and resources into the community? And, I hear a few different people that are running for office. I hear different people who are, activists and different things of that nature. And, truly, look, I'm an outsider. So, I'm bringing them, they call us carpetbaggers. I guess I'm a carpetbagger. I've been coming to do my thing. But I just want you, if you all could just, with this quote unquote reparations thing, is there any way, you have folks on the ground and people in the community that can, start going after, schools that receive, and this is a challenge, schools that receive money from the Morals Act of 1863, right? And I'm not sure if you all know about that Morals Act, but that Morals Act was very important because each state at that time received up to 30,000 acres of land, right? And most of those schools were discriminating against our people. But beyond those schools discriminating against our people, which is very important, is that you're talking about $10 million over 10 years. I'm going to be honest with you, that's not that much money. So if you all can go out there and get some more money from these schools that receive benefits in your state of Illinois from that Morals Act, I think that you all can actually begin to build something up in the community, just like Carolyn was talking. What about that dispensary? There's no Black folk that's out there that's qualified to own a dispensary. I know Black folk that sell weed every day. They're not qualified. So that's one. I know y'all got recreational centers out there, right? Because I just did the data, and it's looking like you all have less than 12,000 Black folk that live out there, right? They got less than 12,000 Black folk. So if y'all have less than 12,000 Black folk, I'm pretty sure, let's say half of them might be adults. If half of those people are adults, then, we're talking about job access and employment opportunity. I think y'all can do that, but me personally, I just think this $25,000 $25,000 for a housing voucher is like, it's just disrespectful to our elders, and y'all got to do something more, because I'm calling from Philly. That's how much I dislike this. Like that, I'm calling because I see what's going on, and I will not let reparations get co-opted. I will not let reparations get co-opted at a municipal level and at a state level, because we know what we got to do at a federal level. Because at a federal level, we had to fight for our life. If we don't get reparations, then we are a dying breed. Our ethnic group is dying on a daily basis, no matter what it be: homicide, suicide, genocide. It doesn't matter. We are dying at a rate that is crazy. By 2053, our wealth will be at zero. COVID has sped that up an additional 20 years. By 2033, in my belief, we will be done if we don't get this thing. Now, I mean, y'all running for office and y'all have these different things. And look, get to those people on the ground, if y'all can. Help those people get fired up. Ms. Rose, I believe in you 1,000%. I know you. Look, you got the ancestors in you, beloved. I'm listen, man. And just if y'all could do something for these people out there, because it's not that many black folk out there, but y'all got to do something for these people, because like I said, 25,000. That's not doing it, and only 14 people are going to be eligible in the beginning. That just is. So I say all that to say this, just to conclude. I hope that things work out for you all out there in Illinois. And I hope you all can reach out and check out, that Morals Act, and check out those schools in Illinois that receive funding from that. And maybe that is a different pile of funding that you all can get, because I'm working on that everywhere. I'm working on that here in my state about that Morals Act. Every school that receives funding. So if anybody want to get in contact with me, my name is Khalif Alexander. Write me in the chat. We can connect. And again, I am a reparationist. I have my nonprofit organization, Millennial Juneteenth. We have been working to make Juneteenth a national holiday for quite some time now. We actually worked to make Juneteenth a state holiday here in Pennsylvania. So, everything that we do is for the betterment, advancement, and the upliftment of, Black Americans here. So thank you, and that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Rose, and thank you, Kimberly, for your question. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. We really appreciate everyone coming out here to have this conversation. Even if you agree with us or do not agree with us, I'm glad that we had the opportunity to facilitate some great discussion here tonight, and we see both sides of this conversation. Again, you can find more information on our Facebook page, as well as reach out that way as well. If you'd like to schedule conversations that can be had in person, that can be done as well. And I'd be happy to talk to any individual who would want to converse about this at a greater length. Again, we do have our event happening on Saturday at 10:30 outside of the dispensary on Maple. And we will continue to have discussions there, voice our opinion, and in order to be heard, to recognize that this reparations plan as it is incomplete. Obviously, it's been stated numerous times that there's $10 million allocated over 10 years for this program. That obviously this is only $400,000 that's being allocated at this time. Therefore, that there is no concrete plan going forward. In order to establish a healthy program from now onwards that can be shown as a model for other municipalities to copy and use as they may, we need to have a comprehensive plan that includes listening to residents, that gives them the option on what type of reparations, what type of reconciliation they would like to receive from the city of Evanston. And then we can go forward on voting for it. None of us here in this call, and that's including all 50 people who have been here tonight, are against the idea of reparations. We want a program that's all-inclusive, that allows residents the ability to choose what type of payment that they receive, and that's ultimately the document that should be voted on, not something that's a section of a larger reparations plan that has not been put onto paper yet. That we still have work to be done, and again, I applaud all the individuals who have worked tirelessly to bring us to where we are tonight. But again, I thank you all for attending. Please reach out to us on Facebook as well. And I again thank you all for your time. Have a good rest of your night.